What up? I got Noskin here with me. This ain't a diss song, but yeah, you know what it is. I'm a cheesehead, y'all niggas cheese whiz. Pittsburgh Steelers, that's nothing. That Super Bowl ring, that's stunting. Pull up in your town when you.
How do you get JK back to where he was earlier in the season? Because he was such a field position weapon, and obviously he's struggling right now.
Sure. And like I said, I've answered a couple times here in the last couple weeks and stuff. I mean, he's had some punts that he'd like to have back, and we're just continuing to work on his drop and just the mechanics and fine tuning those things and going outside and working in the wind and the things he's going to face and just keep working through it and just mentally try to. Again, he's mentally strong and he's confident in himself. We're confident in him. It's just he's had a couple bad punts and they've been in positions where we've been backed up and we haven't flipped the field like we'd like to and stuff. And it's helped lead to points down the road, which is not what we want. But again, I'm confident in him and he's confident in himself. We'll get it worked out.
Shawn, he was telling us though that he raised his drop a little bit, and he was explaining how that generally leads to better hang time.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a reason that he felt he needed to do that, or you guys felt he needed to do that? Because it sounds like that was kind of the domino that kind of led to some of his inconsistency.
Yeah, I mean, we did it just because he's mentioned before and earlier in the season, there's a certain point as you start approaching things where a lot of times you may hit what we call the rugby flip-flops as you get into more of the pooch area midfield. And there's some areas where he said that maybe I'm not comfortable getting the distance that I want on those, so that if I can raise my drop, I'm not gonna launch it as far, because usually when you raise your drop, you hit higher, shorter, punts. And we talked about doing that in the Kansas City game with all their plethora of returners and stuff that they had, of possibly hitting more of a. When he showed me in practice earlier in the year, he was like, Coach, he goes, I can hit a 45-yard 5.3, you know what I mean? And so they snapped it to him, and he had about a 5.38, 5.4, and I go, okay. And so we talked about doing that in the Kansas City game, and then we got in the game, and, that first punt was backed up, and it was windy, and it had kind of the tunnel down there, and, it blew his drop. The higher you raise the drop, there's more chance for variance and things like that before it hits the foot and stuff. But he's done that at different points even during the season, earlier in the season when we were in kind of that no man's land area where we were trying to hang the ball up and he didn't want to pooch it and stuff. And, without me even telling him that and stuff, he just came over and said, Coach, I raised my drop on that, and just, forced it for a catch right there. So it was something I felt he was confident in and still do. So, we haven't talked about raising it or anything like that since then and stuff. We're just trying to fine tune his drop like he always has done.
How would you define a top tier special teams unit, and in what ways do you think you guys have met that, whatever those standards are, and in what ways do you think that you haven't?
Obviously, we're trying to be, in each of those things. There's different things special teams guys look at. I mean, you've got the Goslin ratings, you know what I mean, that goes through and takes where you rank at on all the different statistical categories. And obviously, the higher you rank at, the lower your number is. I mean, some people use that. There's things called, Football Outsiders. This is more an analytics-based type deal where, it takes where you rank at in your 6 phases, and it'll look at. It also factors in wind conditions and what the stadiums you're playing in, things like that, and what the wind was doing, so that dome teams may have more of an advantage in the kicking game as opposed to kicking in Buffalo or Green Bay or one of those, Chicago, where it's windy and can affect your punting and those kind of things you're kicking off. So, we'll look at those things. Obviously, we want to try to be the top in the league in all those statistical categories, and I think our coverage units have improved. Obviously, we're not. We haven't flipped the field on the net punt like we wanted to the last couple games, but I think we've improved there. We've kicked the ball well on field goal protection, and we've affected some kicks. The return game hasn't been what we've wanted at all. Obviously we know there are struggles in the punt return game. It's not where we want to be at all, but we're working hard to improve that. And for us, so we're trying to, like I said, try to create some explosive plays, and we've not done that. I think that's well documented. We're trying to do that in the return game, but again, we've had eight punt return opportunities through the season and stuff, and you get into that, and there's there've been some forced fair catches, and last week we had a couple good opportunities where they were backed up, and we just didn't get the gunner blocked. And one, he forced a fair catch, and the next one, we had a good return set up back to the field, and he ended up making a tackle as we got the play started and stuff. And that was really the next one. The punter hit a bad ball, and we ended up just waved it off and stuff. So again, we've not We've improved our penalties. You know, we haven't done, like I said, anything to really hurt us as far as, you know, anything giving up a touchdown, those kind of things. But we also haven't created the plays either that we've wanted to. So we're striving hard to do that in the return game and just, again, flip the field, create some turnovers in the kicking game, and try to give our offense a short field.
So Shawn, when you talk about not getting the gunner block, do you think that's been more than anything the issue that you guys have to be better at to get the punt return average up? I know you've had limited opportunities, but Matt kind of mentioned that as well.
Yeah, I think especially the two, and we really talked about that with the punt return unit and stuff. I mean, you know, we had the two that we had and backed up. It was 3rd and long. We called a 6-box return where we doubled both gunners and things, and you know, our inside guy got beat on the first one. We weren't able to recover and get over the top in the ladder, and the gunner forced the fair catch. And then on the second one, it was the same thing on the other side. We had a guy, you know, down the field. We had a decision to make whether or not to block the guy in the back, and we pulled off. And as we were, you know, taking off to the field, he ended up coming in and making a play and stuff, and made a tackle. I mean, those are two of the best gunners we've seen, and we knew that going in. And you know, after that, we did a better job blocking the gunners, but then he hit a bad ball on the next punt opportunity we had that was backed up when we went 6-box again. He just hit a bad ball, and we weren't able to field it and stuff. So, you know, that's what happens sometimes. But, again, we got to do a better job blocking outside. It always starts outside blocking the gunners. I mean, just like when we're on punt team, we say our gunners have got to win, you know, with the right hang time and distance. And, you know, again, that is the same thing every punt. It's going to start with the gunner, so you got to get those guys blocked first.
So you feel good about what Draymond can do? I mean, we saw what he did for Kansas City as a kick returner,
right,
as a rookie. I mean, you feel like if things can get set up, he can be that kind of guy?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm confident in his abilities. I mean, he has good vision. He's got good balance. You know, he runs hard. Yeah, I feel like he's got good acceleration and stuff. So I feel like, yes, he can make some plays for us. Yes.
In your experience, when somebody hits a big play on special teams, is it more, you think, you know, really good scheming, or is it more just a guy making a play, you know, a special talent?
It depends on the play. I mean, there's sometimes, obviously it's schemed up well, you know, and blocked well, and then there's others where, you know, if you watch Washington on a Plays of the Week last week, I mean, Washington's kick returner had a kick return touchdown where Detroit really had him hemmed up, and he just made about 3 or 4 guys miss and then got up the sidelines. And you would have said that was pretty good coverage if you were the kickoff coach. You just missed the tackles and stuff. So in that case, it was a guy making a play. You know, but a lot of times it's scheme and a guy making a play.
Shawn, did you see the onside recovery last night in the Saints-Falcons game?
I didn't. I haven't had a chance to see
they
those
had,
yet.
Falcons recovered 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'd only been 2 recovered all year. What's the key to trying to get those?
I mean, it depends on what your kicker kicking those balls and stuff. I mean, it's a lot of times it's a combination of trying to kick where they're not. You know what I mean? You've seen something on film that, you know, maybe where you try to set your team at, because you have to go 5-by-5. There's only so many things you can do as far as, you know, before when you could go 6 guys to a side, you could really overload and try to create some disadvantages. But, you know, now with being 5-by-5, it's made it harder to do some things. So you're just trying to find an open window and then just try to put a ball in there, and hopefully it hits somebody, or it's, you know, it takes a funny bounce, and you've got guys there that can go in and make the play and recover it.
Oh yeah. Young Moolah, baby.